class. Today we will be doing a portrait of a snowman. Do you remember last month when you used a mirror and you drew your own portrait? Well, today we will be doing one of a snowman. So here's an example of the portrait snowman we will be doing today. I'd like you to take a look at some of the things we will be drawing. Do you see circles? What other shapes do you see? Maybe a long triangle? And over here for the scarf tails? I also want you to notice where the head is in the middle of the paper and the body at the bottom. We put the head in the middle so that we leave room for its hat. One other thing I'd like you to take notice of, unlike your portrait, which was in the middle of the paper, this one is off-centered, which means you don't see all of it and it's off to the side a little bit. So keep these features in mind as we are doing the portrait of the snowman. Ready? Let's begin. So let's begin by taking the supplies out that we'll need for this project. First, you'll want to take out the brown mat that covers your work surface and lay it out. Next, you'll need a paper plate. You'll need your oil pastels, which are inside of another Ziploc bag. You'll need a pencil. And then you'll see a colored piece of paper. It might be purple or blue or some shade of blue or purple. So let's put everything aside that we don't need and begin. We're going to start by writing our first and last name and our teacher's name on the piece of colored paper. If you need more time, pause the video. Now let's turn our paper over and begin. Now you should have a colored piece of paper, and I want you to take your paper plate, which we're going to cut. And I have to stop you for a second, pause the video, and please grab some scissors. Okay, I have my scissors now. If you remember, the head of the snowman is off-centered and it's sort of in the middle. Think about the middle of your paper and make sure that you have your paper long ways up, which is vertical. So in order to get a round shape, we want to cut the paper plate so that we have a round circle. Your hand is probably small enough, my hand's too big, to draw a circle around to make our circle. So I want you to take your hand and put it inside of the paper plate, maybe using your knuckles or maybe the middle of your hand as a guide, and I want you to draw a circle around it. We're then going to cut that out and try to cut it in a circle. Did you come up with a circle? Now, when we're making a snowman outside, it's not always a perfect circle. You can put your trash aside. So now again, we are going to use this circle to draw our head of our snowman. Okay, now remember, I want you to place the head of the snowman in the middle and then move it up a little bit, remembering to leave room for its hat and make it off-center. So putting it right in the middle would be centered. We want to make it off-centered. Then using a pencil, draw a circle around, trace a circle, I should say, around your head of the snowman. Now remember, now we need to draw another circle for the body. And what you're doing is you're coming from the bottom of your head circle and just creating another circle, and it's off-centered, so you won't be completing a full one. Next, we're going to create the scarf. Now, where does the scarf go? The scarf goes around our neck. So take your pencil and think about the thickness of a scarf and take that thickness from underneath the head of the snowman and create that line extending to the edge of the body. Now, thinking of a different shape, we want to make the ends of the scarf. Do you remember what shape we used for that? That's right. We used a long triangle. So starting at the 2 points where the scarf met the body, draw a long triangle for one scarf end. How many ends are there on a scarf? 2? So let's create another one for the other end of the scarf. Now, think about your snowman outside. Do we usually put a nose and eyes and hands on it? When we make a snowman, we usually try to find a branch. So starting at that point where the scarf meets the body, think about a branch as an arm and a hand. And start there when you draw it. Ready? Let's begin. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the eyes and the nose. Go back to your circle and let's draw 2 eyes somewhere near the middle top of the head. Draw 2 circles. And now we need to make a nose. We at our house usually use a carrot for a nose. So what is the shape as a carrot? Is it also sort of a triangle, long triangle? I'm going to draw that. And now we need to make a mouth. So think about the last time you made a snowman. What did you use for its mouth? Maybe some beans or some coal. I'm going to draw coal because that's what we used. So coal is also a circle. So I'm going to draw some circles to be the shape of the mouth. And now we're going to draw one more thing. Let's pretend that our snowman has a coat on. What's on the front of your coat? Maybe a zipper that goes up and down, or some buttons? I'm going to draw buttons on mine. Now think of the shape of a button. Is it a triangle or a circle? That's right, it's a circle. So in the middle, pretend you can see the whole circle. In the middle of the jacket would be buttons. Go ahead and draw them. And the last part is the hat. Where does the hat go? On our foot? No, it goes on our head. So think about a hat. It comes a little bit over our forehead when we put it on, right? So let's draw the rim, which is the bottom part near our forehead. And I'm just going to draw a line that extends a little bit past the head, and then come up in a half circle, and then go ahead and draw a line up for the top part of the hat. And then you can draw a gentle, soft line to extend that rim. Okay, I'm going to have you pause so that you can finish any of the features of the snowman. So now that we have the outline of our snowman portrait, we're going to grab into our bag and retrieve some oil pastels. So what color is snow for a snowman? White. And we're going to use black for our buttons and our eyes. So retrieve your black oil pastel. And I'm going to make my nose orange, just like a carrot. So for the scarf and the hat, you can pick any color you like. Reach into your bag and grab those colors, but try not to make it the same color as your paper, because then it won't show up. I'm going to use green and red, and I'm also going to grab a brown one, because that's usually the color of a branch, which I'll use for my hand. We can put the other pastels aside. So we're going to begin by coloring the snowman white. Try not to color the scarf or your buttons, but it's okay if you get a little bit on. So go ahead and color. It might be a good idea to use the white and outline things like the scarf. That way you can color around your outline much quicker. If you reach the paper of your oil pastel and have trouble coloring, you can peel some of the paper back. If you need help, ask an adult. Remember to outline the features like the carrot, then you have a guide to color around. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the black. I'm going to make my buttons, my eyes, and my mouth black. So I'm going to go ahead and color those. Now I'm going to move on to my nose. I chose orange, like a carrot, for my nose. Now I'm going to move on to my arm and hand. I chose brown, just like a branch color. Now, remember you chose your own favorite colors for the hat and the scarf. I'm going to do the scarf next. I chose green. Go ahead and color. Now we're going to move on to the hat. I like to match my clothes a lot, so I'm actually going to use green for my hat. But remember, you have other colors in the bag. You can choose whatever color you want. Just don't use a blue or the same color as your background paper because you won't be able to see it. Okay, go ahead and color. Do you remember the picture I showed you of the example? And how the hat had kind of a different color where the rim meets the top of the hat? Well, we're going to do two things. First, we're going to outline ours in black. We're also going to use some shading to create the difference between the rim, that's the part that goes over our forehead, and the top. So now I want you to take your black and outline everything on your snowman. So first outline the hat, and then we're going to outline the head, and we're going to outline the scarf. And also the body and the hand. And last, the nose. And there you have it. You should have your portrait of a snowman. The last thing that I just mentioned was to add depth. So right now, my hat kind of looks like just one big hat. You can't really see the rim. So I'm going to very gently draw a line where the rim would go over the hat. So you almost have, what shape is that? A square or maybe a rectangle? And then you can use your finger to blend those colors in. And you can see, since we're using oil pastels, that you can blend the colors. It's not like a crayon. And then I might take some black and just gently put some colors on the rim to give it a little bit of a different color and some texture. And there we have it, the portrait of a snowman. I hope everyone had a great time creating this portrait. Now, part of having fun is cleanup. Let's take all of our oil pastels and put them back in the bag and close that up so they don't fall out. Then we're going to put the top back on our glue stick. I don't know about you, but mine got a little messy. So I'm going to use the circle just to clean it up a little bit. Put your cap back on. Then we're going to put all our supplies back in the inner Ziploc. So go ahead and put them back in and then close it up. Then you can put your Ziploc away till next time. And you have one last thing to put away. Sorry about that. We're going to put away our brown piece of paper that protects our table. And there we have it, kids. And I will see you next time.